Okay, guys, we're back. It's another preview for the Six Nations. Ireland versus France, round 4. Let's get straight into talking about the game itself. Usually, if you watch these videos before, I usually go through some of the lineups first and give some thoughts on the game. But let's get straight into how big is this game. This game is absolutely massive. And I'll tell you why. It's not massive for Ireland so much. It's massive for France because what have France actually achieved in the last 3 years? And I'm saying this as, you see, an England fan, and we have been terrible since, 2021 maybe? We haven't won the Six Nations since 2020, and we've been disappointing. But France are currently going through basically their golden generation, or at least a golden generation since like 2011, and they haven't got much to show for it. They've got one Six Nations in 2022, which they were phenomenal, won the Grand Slam. Obviously came second in 2023, losing to Ireland away. That cost them the Six Nations title. So, but since then, they get knocked out in the home World Cup, which they were unlucky to lose that game, I must admit. But they still didn't get through. They didn't win the 2023 Six Nations, didn't win 2024, and now they've, by their own standards, I think the gap between France and England is actually smaller than a lot of people think, and I think too many people discredited England in that win over France in the Allianz or Twickenham Stadium in round 2, and also underestimated England beforehand. But at the same time, the aspirations this French squad has and the potential and quality in their squad, they'll be absolutely devastated to lose that game. And going into round 4, they now have to beat Ireland to be in with a chance of winning the Six Nations. And to be honest, if they beat Ireland, I'll be eating my words, and so a lot of fans, and they will probably be the favourites to win going into round 5 because of the massive points difference they've racked up against Italy, and Ireland not getting a bonus point against Wales. I think that all helps France, and if they can deny bonus points and all that. So we'll get into that later on in the video. But we just want to say, how big is this game for France? It's absolutely massive. It's the biggest game since that 23 World Cup quarter final. I know they played Ireland last year at home, but for me this is bigger because now they have to win this. Galtier, I think he's actually a really good coach, but he will be under pressure if he can't win this game because they have to get some silverware to show for how well they're playing, the potential and quality in their squad. So for me, massive game for France. Ireland is also quite a big game. Obviously, this is go for the three-peat, 3 Six Nations in a row, potential Grand Slam this year as well. You'd think they have enough to get over the line against Italy, in round 5. So this is basically the final hurdle for the Irish squad, and yeah, it's a massive game. It's going to be a really exciting game. I remember the game in 2023 in the Aviva, probably the second best first half of rugby I've ever watched in my life, potentially. As a sort of neutral, at least, not taking away any England or Saracens games, because I remember watching. It was obviously the World Cup quarter-final between South Africa and France, where France lost, as I was talking about, was a phenomenal first half. What was that, like 6 tries in the first half? But yeah, that was a phenomenal game in Dublin 2 years ago. So hopefully we can have something similar to that. And yeah, do I want France or Ireland to win? Just as an England fan, quickly. Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh, it's like, who would you rather shag your girlfriend? Your best mate or your dad, really? But I don't know. I'll probably have to go for France, maybe, because I don't really want Ireland to get a three-peat. No team in Six Nations history has ever got a three-peat in sort of single-handedly on their own. There's sort of been England, I think, have done like 2, and then joint winners with Scotland or Wales back in the old times. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, let's get into the actual squads themselves. And for Ireland, it's pretty much as expected. Let's get straight into the sort of first thing I noticed. We've got Jamie Osborne on the wing, which has caused a lot of controversy as, I don't know where Matt Hansen is. I don't know if he got injured last week. I can't remember now. But a lot of people have been saying, Calvin Nash is available. You could go for Jimmy O'Brien at Leinster, is more of a winger than Jamie Osborne is. But Jamie Osborne's got the nod. He usually plays centre or fullback. I personally think it's a correct choice. I think he's absolutely class. I think his defence is probably one of the best in Leinster's team, and that's saying something because they have a lot of great defensive backs. So yeah, I think Jamie Osborne is going to do a great job at 14. And personally, I think Simon Easterby has got that right. I think he's the best player to bring in if Hansen is unavailable. But let's go for the forwards. The forwards are pretty bog standard as usual. Porter, Sheehan and Beelum. Beelum comes back. It was Clarkson last time out. McCarthy and Tyburn are the locks. I mean, McCarthy has usually been the starter last year. I think James Ryan's got a couple of starts so far in this Six Nations, but now Joe McCarthy's fully fit and back. He's got a start. Peter O'Mahony continues in the six. He sort of had a little resurgence during the Six Nations. I feel like Josh van der Fleer and Caelan Doris as a 7 and 8. And then continuing Jameson Gibson Park and Sam Prendergast as a 9 and 10. Gibson Park has probably been the best player in the Six Nations this year. He's been absolutely brilliant the first 3 games of the Six Nations. So, yeah, he's been very impressive. I can't wait to see how he plays up against Anton Dupont. That'll be how it's sailed, of course. I mean, I think Gibson Park's been the better 9 so far this Six Nations, although Dupont has also been playing very, very well. So that'd be a great battle to watch. Prendergast is going to be the interesting one. They could target Sam Prendergast here. For me, Scotland didn't put him under enough pressure. Wales, he had an on and off game against Wales, a couple of world-class moments, a couple of shockers. I think he was to blame for both Welsh tries. He got run round by Blair Murray for the Tom Rogers second try, and the first try, he was the one who gave the knock-on before Wales went a few phases and then scored. So, big game for Sam Prendergast. Probably his biggest game of his career. You could argue maybe England, the one in round 1, was bigger. And I think he did poorly in that game as well. I thought he wasn't great in that game either. So let's see how the French defence targets Sam Prendergast. Obviously, Bundyaki and Robbie Henshaw as a centre partnership, as Gary Ringrose got red carded last game, that's a fantastic centre partnership. I'm just jealous that's the backup centre partnership. And James Lowe, the other winger, of course, he's been also another great player for Ireland so far this Six Nations. All their Kiwis doing fantastic. And then Hugo Keenan at 15. He's also a world-class fullback. So, yeah, a very, very strong squad for Ireland. Once we get into the substitutions, we've got Rob Herring, Cian Healy and Thomas Clarkson as the front row replacements. So, pretty strong. They've been sort of the main props coming on. Although Cian Healy, is he coming back from injury? Has he played this year, this Six Nations? He might be coming back from injury, actually. So interesting to hear how he goes. Obviously, he is a world-class player to bring on off the bench. James Ryan, as I said, he's been playing quite a lot this Six Nations. He's lock replacement. Got Jack Conan, who was great against Wales. Sadly picked up a knock, so he came off a little bit early. But good to see he's recovered for this game. Ryan Baird also there. He's always been, always has a good impact whenever he's starting or coming off the bench. Conor Murray and Jack Crowley, the Munster halfback duo, are the halfback replacements. So yes, a very strong squad there. And this is 90% of the team that has beaten France in the last 2 years. So they should be very confident. Not very confident, it's always going to be a tough game, but they should have a lot of belief that they can go over the line here and, continue towards that Grand Slam that they will be so desperately wanting. And we get into the French squad. I should have mentioned this off the bat. I forgot to mention this straight away. 7-1 split for the French. Oh, God. It's just mad times we live in. Mad times. 7-1 split on their substitutions bench. I mean, I sort of see the bomb squad is very famous in the South African bench coming off, and I see someone in the comments named this the Frog Squad. Which, are you allowed to say that? I'm going to say it. That's just funny to me. But on the bench, you have Julian Marchand. He's on the bench. Oh, my God. It's crazy. Cyril Bay and Alder Gary. Right? What a quality front row. That could eat that. A year ago, maybe 2 years ago, that was a starting front three for France. So that is scary stuff there. Mayafu is on the bench as well. Oh, my goodness gracious. This is crazy. Orodu and Jegu, who have been coming off the bench regularly so far this season, in the Six Nations, I should say, are continuing their roles on the bench, as is Gelonch, who is a quality player, and he was absolutely fantastic 2 years ago in Dublin. So yeah, I really like watching him, obviously the Toulouse player. And then Maxime Lucu, the scrum half, is the only backs replacement on there, which tells me they're going to do their normal sort of move and move Anton Dupont to 10 and probably take off Roman Untermack, who is the starting fly half for France. We'll go through the backs now. I'm onto them. Dupont and Untermack, the Toulouse duo, continuing at half-back. Well, not continuing, because Untermack's just come back from a red card, of course, he got in round 1. So he's finally served out, what is it, a 3-game suspension or something. Moefana and Barassi continue as the centres. They've both been very good so far this Six Nations. Penaud is back. Obviously, he was sort of out for round 3. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was illness. And BLB Array, who has been electric for the last year or two, is continuing on the other wing. So the Bordeaux duo on the wings. And then we go to another Toulouse player at fullback. The ever accurate at goal kicking, Thomas Ramos at 15. So yeah, an exciting back 7 for France. First time they've all played together, if I'm right, ever, because Barassi's quite new. They haven't played together this Six Nations because either Untermack's been out or Penaud's been out. But the other 5 have been pretty much ever constants in the Six Nations so far this campaign. We're going to the forward. Front row, Jean-Baptiste Gros, Peter Mavaka and Uni Antonio. So again, a ridiculously strong front 3. Somehow stronger than Marchand, Bay and Aldegheri is mad, but they have 3 stronger. Thibaut Flamand is back. He is a quality player, probably the best lock in the world with his handling. He is fantastic at that. And alongside him is Gouillard. I hope I said his name right. I've not watched so much of him. I'm not a regular top 14 watcher, and he's fairly new to the French squad. So it'd be nice to see how he goes again. I know he played last week against France. It was more the backs that stood out against Italy. More the backs that stood out against Italy than the forwards. And in the back row we have Kroos, Boudehont and Aldrit going in the back row. So yeah, exciting, a very strong French squad. And so much depth in the French nation, I should say. I was going to say French squad, but the 33-man squad they have, or the 20 players who don't get in the French squad, they've got so much depth. It is scary. It's very scary. But yes, let's get into the actual game. How is it going to play out? It's going to be very quick, very physical, I think. I don't think it'll be that high scoring. I think these are both very strong defensive teams. Defensively strong teams, sorry, not that defensive. Ireland like possession, France like throwing the ball about. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the big games, you have to be able to defend really well. And both these teams can do that. So I would expect this to be low scoring, probably definitely under 7 tries, I would guess. Maybe only 5 or 6, which is not that many in today's rugby. You said that 10 years ago, and that's quite a high-scoring game. But I'd say I think Ireland will win. I've said that since the start of the year. I've always said Ireland will win the Six Nations, and that they'll beat France in this game. This has been the biggest game since the fixtures were announced last year, and it's proving to be that. I don't know. Sam Prendergast is going to be targeted. That is what I do know. Sam Prendergast is a weakness in that Irish team. Not that he's a bad player. He's an excellent young player, world class for his age, and he will only get better, I'm sure. He has a very, very high ceiling. Some of that skill, he did that slow motion round the back. Not that he did much, but it was incredible how he could do that. He's 50-22 against Wales, also incredible. But he is young, he is inexperienced, and the French will target him, and they can get at the Irish team by targeting him. I do honestly believe that. I think he, for now, is still a weaker point in that Irish team. The other weak point is, I guess, Jamie Osborne. I mean, I think he's fantastic. Does he have the pace to keep up with some of the French players like BLB Array? I think is the 11, so he'll be on Osborne's side. I think I'm correct in saying that. I think Osborne is quite quick, but he's not BLB Array quick, so that'd be interesting to see if he's positionally aware as a winger to completely get his angles right, so he can always keep up with BLB Array. But yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. The forwards, these are both 2 excellent forward packs, arguably the best 2 in the world, probably with South Africa. I'd say they're going to pretty much match each other. I think the difference maker is going to be in the backs. Untermack versus Prendergast, BLB Array versus Osborne. These could be crucial turning points. But, and again, I would say the Irish centre partnership is quite a lot more experienced and, yeah, just better. Aki and Robbie Henshaw are better than Moefana and Barati. So there's a potential way for Ireland to get in it. I think there's going to be lots of kicking here. Ireland's going to have to sort out their kicking game, but James Lowe has a massive boot. Thomas Ramos has a massive boot. It could cancel each other out. Prendergast is also quite a big boot. DuPont and Gibson Park are probably the two best kickers off 9 in the world. So it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be very exciting. I really can't say much more. It could play out in a number of ways. It could be bish, bash, bosh, high scoring, tit for tat, punch for punch, or it could be really low scoring, not score for half an hour. I have no idea how it's going to play out, but I know it should be epic either way. So yeah, my prediction is Ireland. And yeah, that's pretty much sums it up for here. Please, guys, I'm not finished yet, but please do drop a like and subscribe. I want to get to 50 subscribers. I want ideally by Saturday, but hopefully by the end of the Six Nations. And we're going to be doing Wales, Scotland coming up next. Maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. It'll be out. Also, a full game preview for England versus Italy. I've done a England lineup reaction. It is up. It's this way. It's this side. It's this side. I messed that up. But anyway, England versus Italy reaction I've already done. England lineup reaction already done. England v Italy will be out tomorrow as well. So yeah, looking forward to this game though. This is the massive game of the Six Nations, and I cannot wait. Everyone should be really excited to watch this game because it could be the biggest game and the best game of 2025 this weekend. It's coming up this weekend. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. End the video. Goodbye. See you next one.